Hey guys, my name is Joe from Dynasty Trading Room. Today we'll be talking about Tez Johnson, wide receiver from Oregon. Someone who really broke out last year at Oregon with Bo Nix at quarterback. Had a bit of a down year statistically this year, but I think there's a lot to like in the film. Both how he's used in the offense and some of his physical traits as well as a receiver. So I think he's a definite sleeper, especially in a wide receiver class for 2025 that isn't as strong as it was last year. But again, I think Johnson could be a major steal in dynasty rookie drafts. In the middle rounds, I think he could be a wide receiver too for an NFL team. So he'll be one of the players where it's very interesting to see exactly where he lands, which offensive scheme he'll be a part of after the NFL draft. So we'll see exactly how that affects his stock in dynasty leagues. But for now, let's get into the advanced statistics from PFF, and then we'll go into a more lengthy film breakdown. So just looking at some of the PFF premium stats. Among wide receivers with at least 30 targets on the season, just to remove any outliers. Tez Johnson, an offensive grade. He was 14th in the entire country with an 83.1, just all-around offensive grade, which is really good. And then 9th in the country with an 87.0 receiving grade, which is also fantastic. So you can see with these PFF grades, as much as you take them into account, he is ranked among the best of the best in the entire nation. What immediately sticks out is the yards after catch. Again, among those receivers with at least 30 targets, Tez Johnson, third in the entire country in yards after the catch. A whopping 604 yards after the catch. I mean, I think a decent amount of this comes from when he's a deep target down the field, taking them in, using his speed to turn some deep plays into touchdowns. Obviously, in fantasy, yards after catch is a huge stat because it gets you even more points after reception. Those wide receivers working hard to get even more yards than they're really expected to, and you can see Tez Johnson, one of those players with 604 yards after the catch. Then, looking at his grades down here, you can see Tez Johnson operates mostly out of the slot. Did that even more in past years, but still around an 80% slot percentage, meaning he's in there most of the time. But even this season, I know his last season was the best of his college career, but even this year, putting up good games against Ohio State, Illinois, Penn State as well. So he's put up some good games against quality opponents. But now that we've looked at the stats, let's get into the film. For our first clip here, we're going to see Tez Johnson lined up in the backfield. That arrow is incorrect. And first off, just highlighting that versatility of Johnson. He's lined up in the backfield. He'll also line up in the slot and on the outside several times a game. So that's a plus for his draft stock. But looking at this play here, we're going to see kind of an interesting play design, trying to spread out this Ohio State defense that is so strong and has been so strong throughout the playoffs. This, of course, was the regular season game versus Oregon. We're going to see this receiver run off into the flat, the tight end here run a crosser, and then Johnson out of the backfield run up, match up with the linebacker, and try to run a slant type route. So they're going to try to spread out the defense in a bunch of different ways. But one of the biggest knocks on Johnson as a prospect is his size. On ESPN's website, he's listed at 5'10", 165. For a receiver, if you don't know, that is really, really small in both height and weight. So that's not a big plus for his draft stock. People are worried that maybe at his size he may not be able to compete with physical press coverage or just the physicality at the NFL level as a whole. And this is unfortunately is one of those plays where we're going to see exactly what that looks like against a strong Ohio State defense. Ball is snapped. Right here you can see Johnson. I like the head fake here. Gives a bit of salesmanship, making it look like he's going to go here, but he's going to break back inside. But then you're going to see him just get caught up on the route with the contact and not be able to finish through. And right there, just falls after he meets even just a little bit of contact there. I'll play it back in full speed one more time, but just meets a little bit of contact from the linebacker and falls over, not able to do anything there. So that's not something you want to see early on. Again, in full speed, Johnson, number 15 out of the backfield, meets contact, gets pressed, falls over. Next play here, we're going to see Johnson lined up on the inside of the formation here, number 15 again. Still against Ohio State in that regular season game. He's going to try to run a bit of an out route here. At the break of his route, the corner is going to do a great job getting hands on him, making sure he can't go where he wants to go. And at that size, there's not really much he can do about it once he gets that physicality on him. So a bit of trouble breaking away from the press here, and the corner just walls him off, and he's a non-factor in the play. We'll go ahead and watch what that looks like. Right here, gets hands on him, gets pushed back pretty easily, and then gets just derailed off his route, is a non-factor. But something good about Johnson's draft profile is, if you watch him at Oregon, you'll see a lot of the ways he's used are similar to how a receiver his size and of his caliber is used in the modern-day NFL. You're going to see him in motion a lot to avoid a lot of that press coverage and to make sure that maybe he's not pressed off the line immediately, not derailed off his route, and is able to use his fantastic speed to fly downfield and make a big play. This time here, he's simply a decoy, but you can see traces of how he's used. Even in the backfield, we've seen it a couple times, but real quick, the yellow arrows on him, and they'll fake to him here just as a decoy, and just an interesting way to be used that can be used at the NFL level to get him on the field. Here's another one, number 15 again, Johnson, in motion before the snap across the formation, used as a bit of a decoy there. So again, stuff that can get him on the field at the NFL level that he's already doing at Oregon, that he is a threat for that because of his speed, maybe going to get a touch out of the backfield, touch pass, something like that. So NFL defenses are going to have to respect that. Right here we're going to see Johnson in this trips set over on the right side of the offensive line. He's matched up with this corner at the top of the defense right back here. He's going to run a deep route down the field, experience a bit of contact at the top of his route, but really fight through it, which is a good thing to see after the first few clips. Fight through the contact and use his fantastic acceleration to torch the corner downfield for a huge chunk play for Oregon. So right here, corner tries to get hands on him right here, slow him down, but Tez just sheds the hands, flies upfield, torches him, and it's a big play, touchdown for Oregon. And those are the types of plays you're going to see at the NFL level from Tez Johnson. We'll see at another angle here. Really great throw from Gabriel, the quarterback, but just great play from Tez Johnson. This next play here, we're going to see a really good route from Tez Johnson. It's going to end up being a deeper zone coverage on his side of the field, so he's not going to come open just because of the nature of the defense. But we're going to see a really, really good route that, if it was in man coverage, would have been effective enough to get separation across the field and maybe be a big chunk play for Oregon. Johnson's going to run up. He's going to fake into a corner route and then break back into a post over the middle of the field. Really good sell on the corner, and then using his hips really well on the route as well as the footwork to just glide back into that post without losing any speed on the route. That's a really nice trait to have for these deeper routes over the middle of the field. But watch him accelerate through the route, not slow down, and sell the route really well all across the board. Again, that deep zone coverage isn't going to let him come over. We're going to see number 10 just drift back in a deep zone over here, and there's going to be a zone back here as well. So really kind of designed to not let anything big over the top, but at the same time, got to recognize the great route from Johnson. Here it is. Watch it into the corner, and then he's going to flip back right there, and really good stuff. And watch him accelerate. We'll play back in full speed, but didn't come open. There was a lot of pressure on Gabriel too, so couldn't flip it down the field. But so watch Johnson, bottom of your screen now. Super fluid. Corner, post, back over the middle of the field. Really good route. And want to see that more at the NFL level, them using him downfield, taking advantage of his speed and acceleration on these types of routes. Here we're going to see Tez Johnson shine in a man-to-man matchup against a really strong Ohio State defense, like we've said. Here he is with the yellow arrow on him. He's going to be matched up man-to-man right over here. He's going to release inside with a nice little head fake, but then break back to the outside shoulder of the defensive back. After a really nice fake, draws the defensive back. Here he's going to break to the outside shoulder, fighting off any contact from the DB in the process that would try to slow him down, fights it off, and then breaks over the middle of the field in a crossing route that gets a lot of separation that we'll see on the second view there. Doesn't draw the target, but gets the job done with the separation. But again, watch the release, break inside, and then violently break outside to the corner's outside shoulder. Really good rep from Tez Johnson. Breaks in, super quick, but then is right back out of it, out after the corner jumps inside. That's taking advantage of his speed on a practical level at the line of scrimmage. Fights off hands, and then breaks over the middle of the field, rounds it off really well, and we'll watch that one more time full speed. Watch Johnson again. Really great route. And then we'll see just how much separation he has in the next angle. Here it is. Watch Johnson cover the middle of the field. And right here you can see just how much separation he has. And if Gabriel is given a clean pocket, which he's pressured a lot here, but if it was a clean pocket, he would be able to deliver a nice throw to Johnson here, who has a great deal of separation on this route, so really good rep. Next, we're going to see Johnson in the red zone on the inside of the formation again right here, matched up man-to-man. He's just going to run a slant, throws a release at the top, and then breaks inside. And we're going to see how he's going to fight off this press coverage in the red zone. Obviously, at his size, any kind of physical coverage can be a worry, but we're going to see him here do a solid enough job to where if it was a perfect ball, it could have been caught for a touchdown. So here, unlike a couple of his other routes, I didn't love the release. I don't think it did too much. I think he took a bit too much time at the top of his route. So that's one critique I have, but does enough with his speed, fighting off the physicality as well to get just a step on the defensive back. Obviously creates enough separation to draw the target from Gabriel, even though it was deflected at the line of scrimmage. Didn't get to see if it would end up being a catch or not. It looks like Johnson has just a step on the defensive back, which is a real plus for him, fighting off this really physical coverage in the red zone inside the 10-yard line. So watch Johnson. The release, not bad, but didn't really accomplish too much. Didn't really get the corner shaken off his platform. Breaks inside. You can see he has just a step here against the coverage when the throw is being made. So really, if it was a perfect throw, which we'll never know if it would end up being because he gets batted down, could have been a touchdown. Obviously, batted down. Good play. Another modern use in NFL offenses for Tez Johnson. We're going to see him in motion as the ball is snapped, and he's just going to jet across the field and honestly be open for this touchdown after he motions across. There's not really anyone on him. Modern NFL offenses are going to see this, use speed to their advantage if they draft into their team, use him on plays like this, motions across, where he's just going to beat the defender. I know there have been plays like the Lions will run a type of play like this a lot with Amon-Ra St. Brown. He got a touchdown against the Packers like this, where they just motion him across the formation. He has a step on the defensive back, and they make a good throw to the outside shoulder for a touchdown. He comes across the formation, and right here you can see, I mean, there was a bit of confusion, it looks like, in the defense. He's left wide open. If Gabriel looks over here, which it probably wasn't one of his first reads, but comes open, if Gabriel were to look over there, it would have been a wide open touchdown because of the confusion in the defense. But nonetheless, if he's used like this in the NFL, he has the speed to get open on these motion plays where he goes across the formation, could come wide open in the red zone for touchdowns. Here we're going to see a screen pass to Tez Johnson. The tight end and Tez are both going to get around this edge rusher who goes for the quarterback. Tez bounces around, tight end gets ready to block up here, and you're going to see a really athletic spinning grab from Tez Johnson. Almost a one-hander, really. But not the best throw from Gabriel, but Johnson gathers it and uses his speed to get upfield and outrun a defender on a pretty solid play. So not much to break down here, but some good athleticism to see from Johnson as we keep going here. So not a great throw, spins around, grabs with one hand, and outruns the defender for a solid gain. And we'll see it one more time for another angle. Gabriel, Johnson gathers a good block from the tight end and scampers for a couple yards. Again, we're going to see these modern uses of a wide receiver his size, getting Johnson moving across the formation, getting him running when the ball is snapped so he doesn't have to face the press coverage, and letting him outrun the defenders that try to chase him all across the formation when it's in man coverage. But we're going to see Johnson come across the formation, settle down here, but then when the ball is snapped, speed across this way. There's going to be a lot of distraction from the other parts of the offense. The defense gets way too spread out, and Johnson gets the ball in his hands in space, which is not something you want to see if you're a defender, and it gets a couple yards with that speed. So we'll see how that happens as the play goes. Johnson across formation right here. There's the fake handoff to the running back, draw some of the linebackers to their left, try to defend that. We see the tight end coming out in kind of a wheel route, I believe, going upfield. He is a blocker for Johnson if he gets this ball out and has enough space, but he's also stretching out the defense. They're seeing him as a vertical threat and aren't able to make the play yet. But they're going to throw to Johnson after he gets past this edge rusher right here. Pops it over the head of the edge defender. Gets downfield. Solid game. We'll watch it one more time. One more time. Watch him spread out the defense. Johnson in motion. Comes across. Right here they spread him out with a tight end wheel. And then get Johnson going in space. Really good play call there. We're going to see here Johnson right here in the trips formation. We're going to see these two wide receivers on the other side of the formation. They're going to spread the defense a little bit. This guy goes way upfield, stretching this way, and then this receiver is going to go across the field. But Johnson's going to run underneath on the slant, get up to the corner, slant in, and watch at the top of his break. Does a really nice job swiping away the hands of the corner, trying to press him, play physical coverage. Just swipes away the hands, uses his speed to dart inside, and draws the target. I believe he's the first read on this play as well, which is nice. But again, defense gets spread out. Johnson uses his speed and even some physicality at the break of the route to break inside. So nice play here. We'll watch it. So watch Johnson here. You can see as he's matched up, defense gets spread out over the middle. But Johnson is going to hit this space right here. You can see it schemed up well. Gabriel already has his eyes on him. He's going to make his break. But watch him fight off when they get the hands. He's too fast. Hits the inside shoulder of the defensive back. Just flies inside. Swipes away his hands. Darts over the middle. Makes a nice hands catch, which you love to see. So that was a really good rep. You love to see every part of that. Watch the replay, and then we'll watch it one more time from the other angle. Good catch from Johnson. But again, gets up, fights it off, darts inside. Really good rep. This next play call from Oregon is fantastic. They're going to fake the run down here, which draws these three defenders to the line of scrimmage right over here. That leaves a huge gap back here already. And then we're going to see the route combination from these two. Johnson's right here. But this wide receiver just runs a go, taking this safety with him upfield, and Johnson is going to run a crosser over the middle of the field. So there's no safety anymore. It's taken away by this go route, and there's a ton of space here because they fake the run, drawing these guys up, and they fool the entire UCLA defense for a huge play and a touchdown. So a really good play call. Johnson showing his speed. He's the go-to guy down the field, and we'll watch it. Here's the fake run with Gabriel, draws these guys up, and then, as you can see, safety's taken. Johnson speeds by everybody, shows up his hand, showing he's wide open. Perfect throw, in stride, touchdown. We'll watch it one more time. Gabriel fakes the run, draws guys up to the line of scrimmage. Dot to Johnson, using that speed, knew he was open, touchdown. This next play here, just really soft coverage from UCLA. They're going to drop all these guys back. Oregon's going to run Johnson on an out route, and I think it was a really nice route because you see just how fast he goes, flipping his hips from going vertical to going out. The corner's not ready to make a play on it at all because of how fast he flips to the outside. The corner has no time to react. So we're going to see a really nice route to the outside from Johnson on a play that really needed to be made in this Oregon game. Right here, just see how fast he just rounds the corner, flips inside. The cornerback can't even make a play on it. Has to completely turn around. That's how good the route was. And nice play. Big chunk play for Oregon when they needed it most. Of course, I can't say they needed it most. They had a huge lead in this game, but they did get them the first down. And this last play here, Johnson's not even going to draw the target, but I just want you to watch. He's just going to run a straight line route, a go up the field. I know my line wasn't very straight, but you know what I mean. But just watch the straight line speed of Johnson and see how much potential he has with that speed in a dynamic NFL offense. But just watch him really up the field, torch the defender. Doesn't draw the target, but just, ridiculous acceleration down the field. Right here, look how fast he's running. The defender has no chance of keeping up with him. That's unbelievable, actually. We'll watch it one more time. There's Johnson. Just flying upfield. Look at that speed. That's ridiculous. And any NFL offense will be lucky to get their hands on a prospect like Tez Johnson. So just tying things together here, I think we've seen a lot of the strengths and weaknesses from Tez Johnson as a prospect. Every once in a while, he will struggle in that physical coverage. Due to his size, I don't know if he can be the alpha wide receiver 1 for a team, but I think he profiles really well as a wide receiver 2, depending on where he lands. If he lands with a really creative offensive coordinator that knows how to get him involved, using his speed, scheming the offense to take advantage of his strengths, I think he can be a really high-end wide receiver 2 in the NFL. But again, that depends on landing spot. So we're going to see how that works out after the 2025 NFL Draft. But again, the route running, pretty underrated. His speed is absolutely unbelievable. That might be his best quality, but I still don't think it's talked about enough just how fast he is and what he can bring to an NFL offense. And again, what we've seen at Oregon, a lot of that usage in motion that I think could get him on the field early and often in the NFL. He can be that decoy guy, the speed guy down the field that can be the big play for an NFL offense. And even as I've criticized a bit of his game against physical coverage, he showed that he can battle against it at the breaks in his routes, fighting away the hands, even in press coverage at times to be an open target for his quarterback. So I think he has a pretty high ceiling in Dynasty. I think in a wide receiver class like this, there's a definite argument for him to be a second-round pick in Dynasty rookie drafts. And if you can get him in the third, I think that may even be a steal depending on his landing spot. But overall, I'm super excited to see where Tez Johnson lands in the NFL Draft. Maybe he could even go to a place like Chicago, who just hired Ben Johnson, the former Lions offensive coordinator, with a really creative offensive mind. Maybe if he can get a guy like Tez Johnson in his offense, he could use him to the best of his ability. But that's just one landing spot I thought of. Let me know what you guys think, where he should be drafted, what team could use him. And if you guys disagree with my assessment of Tez Johnson, go ahead and let me know in the comments. I'd be glad to have a conversation about it. If you enjoyed the video, go ahead and like and subscribe. We post a ton of content like this, so if you want to see more, don't be afraid to hit that subscribe button. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'm Joe, and this is Dynasty Trading Room.